Okay, was it time for an update on the DC-3 project? Yeah, it is. Well, maybe it is. All right, so I've bulked up the main landing gear wheels. 2 pieces of 3/32 balsa material has been added to the middle of each wheel, and that gives them the much more accurate or scale appearance. Of the balloon tires that were typical of the DC-3. And also, you can see I've got the first application of filler has been applied and sanded. So now the fuselage has had its first round of sanding and filling, sanding to shape. And so what you'll see, if we sight along the fuselage using the light here a little bit, so in some places you can see the curvature is quite smooth, but in other places we've got some edges that need to be toned down a bit, and it's kind of like a stop sign effect. Rather than being a nice cylindrical shape, we've got a couple of hard edges, like the corners of a stop sign, preventing it from being circular. So it's going to take some sanding to reduce some of those edges. Also, several more applications of filler are going to be needed, especially in some places. Not so much the entire, but what we do is, I apply that spackle product and sand it off at least 3 times, and generally it's closer to 5 or 6 before I'm satisfied with the smoothness and so forth. Okay, anyway, there's the look around the tail. You can see quite a bit more filler is going to be needed around the tail section, both to correct some of the gashes and gaps there, but also to smooth the plastic part onto the balsa area. Get a nice smooth transitions there, so that's going to require quite a bit more. All right, but that's the fuselage after one thorough application of filler and sanding. And like I said, you can kind of see different areas there that are going to need extra attention. And then after I've done the third application of filler and sanding, we start applying the sand and seal. Start putting this stuff on and brushing it on and sanding it when it's cured. And that stuff strengthens and hardens the balsa and the filler product. It has a really nice overall effect. And as it's being sanded off in the finer grits, it also helps to build up a nice surface that is more properly prepped for paint. Anyway, that's the way I look at it. I've got the tail light here. I don't know if you can see that, but I just used a short length of clear sprue from one of the plastic model kits, and hollowed it out a little bit with a drill bit, stuck the tail light into that, and then glued that onto the tail of the balsa there. And then I took a hole punch, and just with the tip of it, just like to cut less than a semicircle into the plastic, and then continued to shape that with an X-Acto blade to make it fit and conform to that length of sprue, and yada yada yada. That's our tail light. And again, as I said, I have a small light with a red lens over it here, just below the cockpit roof support down here. So there should be a red light in the cockpit and a tail light to go with the nav lights, rotating beacon, and landing lights. That should cover all the lighting. What else? There's a plastic part for the tail wheel. Here it is. So with the kit, in addition to the tail cone and some of the other plastic parts, the nose cone of the airplane, the cockpit area cover, this piece is this tail wheel section, and it's meant to go on here like so. But I think in this case what I'm going to do, since I've got to build up all of this around to make it come up and be flush to this, I think I'm just going to use filler to shape this area and just forego this part. We'll see how it progresses as I'm filling and sanding, but I think I can shape that up well enough. I almost now regret using the plastic on the tail cone, this piece on the end, and not just building that with the balsa and sanding it. But you know, it is what it is, and I'll make it work. But I don't think I'll try to fit that plastic part on there, because here, if I just build this up, smooth it out, and apply the tail wheel, it'll have the same look. And if I do all that, make all that effort, then apply the plastic part, and then I'll have to come back and fare that into the rest of the show, and that'll pretty much double the amount of work I'm doing on that just on this section of the airplane. Right, and I want to get started on the wings. I want to start infilling the undersides of these wings and figuring out the rest of the wiring, both for the landing lights and for the navigation port and starboard red and green lights. And so I want to get onto that. I'm not gonna, rush the project. I'm just thinking that if I can save that extra time there, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Okie dokie. So that's our progress report for now. You can see this fuselage looks quite a bit better once you start sanding on it. The infill looks pretty rough, but that's that's just part of the show. We got to infill it first, and then we can start carving and shaping on it, get it the right profile. That's our video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.